Um, this black cats are bad luck, and so are you, kid. By Holly42069. Chapter 3. Izuku padded around the apartment, bored. Eri and Mr. Yamada were deep in a study session, and the man pushed him away each time he came close. His other teacher was gone, and the other cat, Sushi his mind supplied, wanted nothing to do with Izuku. And Izuku couldn't blame the creature. Izuku barely wanted to do anything with the large beast at the moment either. He didn't know if it was his new instinct or what, but Izuku didn't like the animal much. Something about the cat made Izuku want to either run and hide or fight the other. As it seems neither of them wanted either, they kept away from each other as much as possible, and Izuku was just fine with that. Izuku walked down the hall of the apartment and back to the two's bedroom. For some odd reason, he felt really safe in his teacher's closet. He shuffled into the small, dark space and went into the corner. He found a pink sweater that smelled like his homeroom teacher, but had his English teacher's name on the tag. It was soft and warm, and Izuku grabbed it and a few other clothes that were on the ground and piled them into the back corner, where he was out of sight but he could see the door. For some reason, the placement put him at ease, but he didn't question it. Troubled by a more pressing question, how am I gonna get their attention? The apartment was small, clean, and devoid of anything he could use to write his name, or even give a hint as to who he was. He didn't even try to act like a normal cat. But somehow, they never saw him respond to them, or though, or thought he was a strange cat. He wasn't sure how obvious he wasn't a normal cat or a cat at all. But again, Izuku never had a cat and barely interact with the feline species. He was at a loss for any of this. The worst was sucking up and using the litter box. He did it quickly and moved on with life. He did try to use the litter to create some kanji, and his English teacher did walk in it complete. Oh, and his English teacher did walk in on it complete. But Izuku guessed it was illegible or something because the man sighed and complained about how Hazel, you're already making too many messes. He was banished to the bathroom and locked out, to his dismay, but he heard the man using the bathroom and immediately walked away. He was banished from the bathroom and locked out, to his dismay, but he heard the man using the bathroom and immediately walked away. He saw Eri sitting on the couch and walked over to her. She gasped in delight as he jumped up next to her. "Hi, kitty," Izuku meowed in response. "Hello, Eri." The girl giggled and picked the small black cat up. Holding him close, she kissed the top of his head and pet him. "Good kitty." It felt nice, so Izuku sighed and let the girl. And let the girl. He was stressed and wasn't going to disappoint the girl by jumping off of her lap. So he stayed. He didn't even realize. He slowly began to purr until he felt a large rumble in his chest and heard himself. He could purr loud. That was kinda cool. Izuku rubbed his chin against the girl's hand and relaxed. She giggled and squeezed him tighter. It was uncomfortable, but he didn't mind it. You you can jump off new guy. You don't gotta let her hold you like that. Izuku looked up to see Sushi, sitting on the top of the cat tray watching them both. The large cat's tail was lazily flicking side to side, and Eri continued to pet him obliviously. "You can come up here. She can't get you higher up." Izuku blinked at the large cat in surprise and responded, "I'm alright. It doesn't hurt all that bad." The other cat huffed and shrugged, turning away and going back to sleep. Eri continued to giggle above him. Izuku looked up to boop his nose on her chin. She squealed and began to wipe her face, so Izuku got out of her grip, but he sat down beside the girl again, who was delighted he stayed. A few moments later, his English teacher came in and sat down beside the two. "So Eri, what do you want to watch? So Eri, you want to watch something?" The girl looked up happily and nodded ve- nodded fiercely. "Yeah, we should watch Up." The older man chuckled. "Again? Okay, kiddo." The the man kept a sulks and happy smile on his face as he turned on the TV and found the movie. Eri grabbed Izuku and dumped him on his teacher's lap before closer to the scooting closer to the blonde. But Eri began to pet Izuku again, and he thought it wasn't too bad. So he laid down on his teacher's lap. The man watched the cat, shocked, but slowly relaxed, and began to pet the small black animal. Izuku happily purred, slowly dozing off to sleep, soothed by the sound of people around him and the movie playing. Izuku woke up to a grumpy hiss. He slowly opened his eyes and looked down to see a very angry-looking Sushi. "That's mine." He tilted his head in confusion. Izuku tilted his head confused and sat up. He could feel the man below him tense. "What's yours?" Sushi growled and lashed his tail, That man, you're on his lap. He's mine. Izuku blinked in surprise and looked up at the man who nervously trying to get a sleep, sleeping Eri off of him so he could deal with the peeved cat. Oh, sorry. Eri put me on his lap for the movie. I will get off. You better, street cat. Izuku sighed at the bigger cat and jumped off his teacher's lap. But it was immediately reclaimed by a very territorial Sushi, who began to ran, who began to run on the man and dig his claws into the man's thigh. Izuku giggled at the pained and confused look on the blonde's face, but jumped back to sit beside Eri again. Sushi glared at him and tried to take up more space on the other's lap as as possible. Izuku ignored the territorial beast and laid on Eri more. What are you doing? Oh, that's my cat. Eri slowly began to stir after the commotion. She perked up at the sound of the movie and opened her eyes to watch it again. One hand went Iz- to pet Izuku on the blonde's lap, but Sushi was there. Uh, but Sushi, but Sushi was there instead. Eri looked over confused, but Izuku patted her side with one of his paws. The girl looked over and smiled, pulling the small creature into her lap and hugging him close. Izuku sighed and resigned himself to his fate, though his English teacher would pay for laughing at him after he sighed, the asshole. They got to the part where the dogs were chasing the old man. Eri leaned down to Izuku and whispered to Izuku's ears, "Doggies are gross and mean. It, besides dog, do, cannot pronounce this dog's name. Cats are so much better." Izuku snorted at the girl's um statement and nodded. Eri gasped in surprise and looked down. Oh wait. Eri gasped in surprise and President Mike looked down. "What is it? Eri, what is it?" She giggled and hugged the clap closer. "Hazel responded to me." The blonde chuckled and looked at Izuku. "Well, hello, Hazel. Feeling responsive today?" And Izuku nodded. Teacher, his teacher went wide-eyed and pale. Aizawa was tired of this. None of the damn villains were budging. They all said this. They all said the same thing. My secrets shall walk with me. Aizawa was getting tired of it. He slammed his fist on the interrogation table and shouted at the current villain, giving him this spiel. "Oh yeah? Well, I'll actually let you rot if you don't tell me where my damn kid is." The man before him flinched but did not respond. Aizawa glared at the man and leaned forward. "Now then, the green-haired boy. What happened to him?" The secret, I'll I could give less of a shit about your secrets. I won't I want to know about my kid. The man before him glared and spoke again. My secrets shall rot. The Aizawa stood up and quickly rounded the table, grabbing the man by his collar and hefting him up to face him. I told you, if you cooperate, I'll give you community service instead of jail time. But I'm about to give you a trip to the hospital if you don't speak. The man gulped and seemed to be debating something. Aizawa dropped the man and glared. Start talking. Suddenly, the door burst open and Tsukachi, I cannot pronounce his name either, stood there. You have a call. Aizawa sighed and walked over, not before giving a hard glare to the man in the room. What is it? Has it Hazashi says it's important. Is Ari okay? I'm not sure. He just said he needed to talk to you ASAP. Hazawa sighed and walked faster. Got to Kachi's office and picked up the phone. Hazashi? Hey, Sho. What's wrong? Hazashi took a deep breath and sighed. So you know how weird our new cat is, right? Yeah, I think it's sentient. Dot 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 dot. Hazashi, what? Alright, that's the end of this chapter. I hope y'all enjoyed. I haven't putting anything out because it's been so hot outside. I've been sweating. Like no joke. I'll be sitting there and my shirt will be soaking in sweat. Even though I have a fan in my room, my sister has an air conditioner in her room, even though she keeps it closed. There's an air conditioner in the living room. My mom has an air conditioner and a fan in her room because it because she likes it really, really cold in her room. I would like my room really, really cold because it's better to have a cold room than a hot room. Because a cold room you can bundle up. In a hot room you're just sitting there burning up. Anyways, I hope y'all are doing okay. And I hope the hotness of this weather will go away soon. But we both know that probably won't happen until a while. It's getting too hot for this. If I had balls, they would be sweating. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed.